Jackie McMullen. Hello, Jackie. Today, how and who, but why the clock wasn't reviewable on the game-changing play. Also, whether baseball's hosing the Cubs and Rockies by having them play tonight, washing your contact lens with your mouth, and an NBA investigation so damning it needs to come with a warning before it. We're going to show you later. I can't even do it now. I can't. I can't. It's shattering my childhood. Let's go around the horn. That play. Toby's no flinch. What you see and what reality may be.
The show of competitive banter. Here's Tony Reale.
The fourth quarter drives and the lefty throw and the second and 30 conversion. It's all Mahomes. But first, on the clock. Here's Brandon Marshall. Quote, the ref told us the guy was supposed to be watching the clock, just missed it. So maybe he got caught up in watching the game because it was a good game, but you got your job to do. Come on, that was huge. That was big. It was huge, it was big, and it was unreviewable by league rule. How robbed were the Broncos, Tim Kalisha?
It's pretty damaging, and if you look at that picture you just showed, there's an official staring straight at the zero, and I don't know exactly what he's looking at. Now, we all watch games, and since they've got the play clock down and the score, it's real close a lot. They get right around the zero. This was almost a full count or at least a half count after. I mean, I think everybody saw this one. It doesn't change the fact that the Broncos let him gain 35 yards on the play, but realistically, it should have been a penalty. It should have been a 3rd and 12 instead of a 3rd and 7. A little tougher for Mahomes, and, you know, we don't know where the game goes for there. So it's a bad break for Denver.
Do you think Denver can protest the game? You know, we see this in other sports.
No,
protest the game, and nothing ever happens. Okay.
No, it's not even as bad as, you know, a catch that gets overturned or you get a first down and they overturn that in Oakland. Those things are a lot worse. This is just a bad break.
JB?
One of the first things you learn if you play the game of tackle football is you play to the whistle. There was no whistle. Don't be paying attention to the clock. Play the game. And you know what? That was one of his 13 completions out of 16 attempts in the fourth quarter, 2 of which went for touchdowns. So don't take anything away from Patrick Mahomes and what he was able to do in the fourth quarter against that defense with all those guys breathing down his neck. It had nothing to do with it.
We won't take anything away from Pat Mahomes. Frank Isola, how about you?
Yeah, go talk to the Cleveland Browns about bad calls costing you a game. Here's the thing, as Kevin was saying, who's to say that Pat Mahomes doesn't complete a 3rd and 12 pass? So wait, and then you know what? They would have gone for it on 4th down. He probably completes that pass. But I would do this if I were the NFL. Maybe take a page out of the NBA's book. When it gets down to 3-2-1, maybe change the color of the light so it catches the referee's attention. They review everything in the NFL. Why wouldn't something like this get reviewed? I understand the Broncos being upset. They have a right to, but they also should have stopped.
So Frank thinks change the color of the light or maybe have a horn. Why not go around the horn? I like where you're going, Frank. Jackie, how about you?
Around the horn. Listen, I think they should just make it so it's a reviewable play. How about that? That would solve everything in this particular case. But when you look at this game, it's impossible for me to say that this play was the one that changed everything, that turned the game in from a win to a loss for the Denver Broncos. If they want to be upset, they can be upset about the clock, but they should also be upset that their defense couldn't get off the field against one of the most exciting young quarterbacks in the game right now. And if the referees got caught up in the excitement of Mahomes, I don't blame them. I got caught up in the excitement of it. I'm watching the game at home thinking, yeah, so what if the clock went, boy, that was a great throw.
Okay, I mean, you're not a Bronco and you're not a Bronco fan. Well, let's talk about Mahomes for a second, Jackie. Numbers weren't the same, but are you going to say last night maybe in some ways was more impressive than those first 3 games where he was setting records?
I am going to say that because he was under pressure. It was his first ever fourth quarter comeback for the Kansas City Chiefs. You're throwing it left-handed. You're throwing it down the field. You're under pressure the entire time. I think it was really an electric performance, and it's just so exciting to finally see these young quarterbacks claim their stake, because I think the NFL really needs guys like Mahomes to really step up and be great.
Frank Isola?
You know you make your bones in the NFL with fourth quarter comebacks, and to do it on the road. And what you love about Pat Mahomes, his ability to improvise, very much like Aaron Rodgers, very much like Brett Favre. I remember Doug Flutie way back when in his Heisman year at Boston College making similar type of plays. Those are winning plays. That guy right now, it's amazing. Only 4 weeks in has become the star of the NFL.
Doug Flutie is who you compared him to.
I did that for Jackie.
Okay, because they don't really look like each other when they're on the field. Kevin Blackiston, how about you?
Yeah, he's become must-watch TV, and you know, on Monday Night Football, what a performance you saw. And that left-handed pass that he made, apparently he practices that from time to time. So he was prepared for the opportunity. And who's bearing down on him? No other than the Pro Bowl defensive player Von Miller, and he's still able to make that completion for a crucial first down to keep the chains moving. So I really like the way Mahomes played.
He did.
Yeah, Von Miller and Chubb were in the backfield all night, and that's, you know, it looked like one of those games, okay, it's finally not going to happen for the kid. He's up against too much here. They're not blocking these great pass rushers, and he just got outside it and made the plays.
Last thing on the Broncos' last play of the game. They ran the hook and ladder. You all right with that play with, you know, that much time left? It was 10, 12 seconds when they flipped it, and they had no timeouts left, Kalisha?
Yeah, because it's very close. You know, if it's executed properly, he may score going down the sidelines, but at the very least, he's going to be able to run out of bounds and get the yardage. Sutton was right around the first down mark. I mean, it's a long shot. I like the play.
And one thing, just a slight correction to something you said, Jackie. It was his first fourth-quarter comeback. He actually did have a fourth-quarter comeback Week 17 last year. That was in his first career start. So, no number 2 for him. We'll move on. Le'Veon Bell saying he's coming back to the Steelers Week 7, just in time for the bye week. Then he'll be good to go for the back half of the season. He wants to play with his team. He wants to sign long-term with Pittsburgh. Do you believe him, Frank? And if that's the case, can all be well with Pittsburgh and maybe they get back to being who they think they are?
You know, Le'Veon Bell's been talking about how he's kept himself in shape. He's ready to go right now. The fact that he's not going to play now, and you look at their offense, they need him. That team needs something because they've been really flat. This tells me that maybe Le'Veon Bell and his agent are trying to do something to force a trade. If you're ready, why aren't you back now? What are you telling your teammates, who, by the way, came out and criticized you a few weeks ago? There's something not right with this story.
Jackie McMullen?
You're right. There's something not right with it. But you know how you fix it? He shows back up. He starts rushing for 100 yards and mowing down people like he's always done because he's one of the best. Right, but even if he does it Week 7, the reason that Pittsburgh's in trouble has so much to do with Le'Veon Bell. It was unfair for the kind of pressure they put on Connor to expect him to step in and to perform in the same way that he has. And you've been in a ton of locker rooms, and so have I. Players come back. He says to them, hey, man, here's what was going on behind the scenes. And they're like, it's okay, brother. Let's go. Let's win some football games.
Okay,
That's just how
all right.
it goes.
Although, would you say that the way the Steelers reacted in the last week of the preseason was maybe different than other teams in the past? They really seem to call out Bell more than some teams we've heard in recent history, Jackie.
I do think that the best thing for both parties is for both of them to move on from each other. But you know how it goes in the NFL. It's pretty difficult to pull off a trade of this magnitude and get equal value back. It just doesn't happen.
I think this is actually a good thing because the hardest thing about Bell's situation, whether you're a teammate or a Steelers fan, is just not knowing what exactly is in his mind. Is he going to stay out 10, 11 games? And now at least there's a date. If this is what he's going to do, he's going to miss 2 more games. Steelers split those. They'll be 2-3-1. They'll still be alive, and you feel like he can come in and help. The hardest thing is just not knowing week to week. Is he going to be on a jet ski or is he going to play?
Okay, so you think knowing that he's still going to take off a few more weeks and then come back is enough for you? Frank doesn't agree with that. KB, do you?
Absolutely. I understand what Le'Veon Bell is doing. I mean, we've talked about it time and time again. He plays the position that is the most vulnerable in the National Football League, and he knows he's playing the long game right now, and that is he wants to stretch out the touches that he's going to have in this league if he's going to make more cheddar. He doesn't want to go out like DeMarco Murray and get chewed up by one team in one season like the Cowboys did with him. He's trying to lengthen his career here, and this is the only way to do it. And I'll tell you what, everything will be good in Pittsburgh because the last 3 games, they've averaged like 43 yards on the ground. 43 yards. That's worst in the league for Pittsburgh Steelers the last 3 weeks of this football season. That's horrible.
You said DeMarco Murray. Yeah, I mean, there's so many examples of running backs, but the real example he doesn't want to come back at is Earl Thomas. And that can be true regardless of when he comes back, whether it's Week 7 or if he pushes it to the limit of his contract or he doesn't come back at all this year. I mean, that's the thing. You can get hurt in any game, and your future, if you don't have a long-term contract, it would be up in the air. We're going to move on, talk some baseball now. Rockies, Cubs, tonight. Kyle Freeland on 3 days rest for Colorado. John Lester for Chicago. That they're playing one night after playing the divisional tiebreaker while the A's and Yankees just hang out for another day off. Is that fair, Tim? Is baseball starting their postseason in a just way?
I don't know about the unfairness. I thought it was unnecessary. I mean, after 162 games, if you don't have a tiebreaker to decide things like, who wins a division when you're tied, you played each other 19 times, you're both in the playoffs. I wouldn't want somebody to get kicked out of the playoffs, but that wasn't the case. You watched those games yesterday, and the losers were like, all right, so we got to go do this now. There wasn't any urgency to those games, and I think that's the biggest issue.
So Tim makes the argument that the tiebreaker game, the all-for-one for the division, wasn't necessary this year because both teams were making the playoffs. Blackistone, you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. And, I've been a proponent of getting rid of this thing anyway. I mean, I just don't see how you can play this long grind of a season where the cream eventually rises to the top, and then you go and say, you know what, we're just going to have one game to eliminate a team from the rest of the postseason. It's never seemed fair, and I don't know why baseball doesn't change. In fact, if they change it, they're likely to make more money, more ticket sales, more money from television and all of that. I don't know what the problem is.
Okay, so you think the wild card game is unfair because it's one game, and you thought this year the teams playing back-to-back days specifically is unfair. Frank, you agree with that?
If you don't have a wild card game, the Red Sox are running away with the division. You want to have that game, keeps other teams involved. It is for the fans. And I understand Colorado's the team that is really getting the short end of the stick. You're in L.A. one night. The next night you have to be in Chicago to play another elimination game. But guess what? Most of the fans don't care about your travel inconvenience. I know that's something sports writers care about, players care about, but I don't think the average fan does. Play the game. It'll be a great game tonight.
Rockies in 3 different time zones in the last 3 days. Jackie Mack, how about you?
Right, but if the Rockies wanted to take care of that, then they should have won the game. If they had won the game, then they wouldn't have to worry about that. If they had won the division, they wouldn't have had to worry about this either. So you always control your own destiny by how you perform on the field. I like the wild card. I know purists don't. I like the idea of a one-game winner-take-all. I think it makes sports much more exciting. I understand that baseball purists don't go for that. But I am about it. And this is a very, very unusual situation.
It is unusual, but you're saying you control your own destiny, but you're controlling that destiny with not as full a roster, let's say, because of the pitchers you've had to use in past days, or not as full a team, not your best shot at controlling your destiny. I think that's what some people have a problem with. All right, I need some picks here. And we just said, the Rockies are playing 3 games in 3 different time zones. Cubs are at home tonight. Who you got, Jackie?
John Lester, got to take the Cubs.
Isola?
I got Lester going 7 because the Cubs bullpen is spent. The Cubs will win.
Blackstone.
Cubs.
Calico.
Colorado Rockies, better lineup.
All right, one for the Rockies.
Bullpen. Give me Colorado.
Yeah, I know. Isola said Cubs because of their bullpen. I was like, I don't know about that one. All right, taking a break right here. Buy or sell on the other side.
Lester's going to pitch longer.
Oh, okay, that's the point. Good point.
Lester, the guy that was supposed to be washed up so the Red Sox wouldn't sign him. Are you kidding?
With Western Union, you can